After the shock that took many days in the game, today there is an announcement of a maintenance update from 12 p.m. to 8 a.m. tomorrow. Like every season, this update also improves the winter clothing store replenishment system of the shopping center and fixed the linking of archer skills with basic attacks and a bunch of other things. That's why we all told each other to rest and see you later. Luna exited the game and gradually returned to her real world. There was a white-furred king waiting for a long time. Tubok put his gaming hat aside and stroked the fat cat's head, muttering Rafi Moon. Suddenly the sound of footsteps pounding on the floor got closer and closer to the room. Tu Noyet pretended like she didn't know someone was coming. When the door opened, the butler appeared and said that the old man was looking for Tu Noyet, coughed twice, and told him many times before entering to knock on the door, but the butler didn't care. He only repeated that the old man was looking to attract him. Just let her leave the room. The wheels rolling on the floor sounded screeching. The butler stopped in front of the large metal door and told Miss to come in herself. I'm not going in. After a while, the little moon approached and knocked on the door. Call me, Dad. For a while, I didn't hear any sound coming from inside the little moon. I thought I had fallen into silence. Suddenly, the door was pushed inward and there was a vague invitation to come in. Blue light shines down on several schools of fish swimming in groups in a peaceful way. Tu Noyet pushed the wheelchair towards the person sitting at the end of this aquarium room and softly asked Dad to find me. Calling both her full name and her first name, the person said, I heard you passed the first exam. Then Tu Noyet kept quite a distance, alternating between coughing and saying yes. The exam will be held 1 month later. If you participate, you must make it to the final round, don't embarrass me. Yes, I was about to say more. That stern voice stopped me. I can go. When did a small fish stray from the herd suddenly fall within the shark's bite range? In the middle of the beautiful ocean of the aquarium, Vaughn was covered in blood as if reminding him that no matter where he was, the scene of big fish swallowing small fish is still here. The city outside at night is bright with colorful lights. Rafi walks next to his brother, talking endlessly about the winter philosophy of having to eat hot pot. He heard that all the cooking ingredients from the store in front are transported, delivered by air from Sichuan, so the taste is very delicious. Without waiting for Luli to answer, the concubine walked straight towards the 2 rabbits wearing cool clothes standing next to the door. Welcome the 2 bosses. As soon as they saw the concubine, she teased the beautiful girl. Last time I told you to come. I'll give it to Facebook too. The hot pot is steaming with a strong smell of Sichuan spices. In the Rafi atmosphere, I chewed non-stop with my hands and mouth, this fat frog-flavored beef and beef that I must eat today to live again. He didn't stop himself from picking up a piece of beef, modeling for his younger brother what to dip in. That's it. Jai Nach, right now the hot pot here tastes quite good, just a little spicy. I should add more sesame oil to protect my intestines or tomorrow my stomach will be upset. As soon as he finished speaking, he choked on a mouthful of food that the 2 brothers ate at once. Suddenly I heard someone at the table behind me talking nonsense about the game Fantasy Noyet that's been hot lately. More than 40 people in our group did the same task. The result was that no one had the same task, or more accurately, the enlightenment task sounded so strange. My friend didn't understand. The other person explained it more carefully. It was clearly an urgent task. The 18 levels of difficulty are vastly different. The simplest thing is that catching a level 5 rabbit is more difficult than having to fight a level 35 boss. How else can you play? That's why that person felt so impressed with the creator of this game that it was so unconventional, but in his heart he was still upset about whether this mission was really random or had some other intention. Luli listened from beginning to end, wondering in his mind if similar questions were a coincidence or if each person was different. Remember that your mission board clearly states that the text is randomly generated and it asks Tranoyet to take the NPC girl to the Kwang church and kill the kings. The king he needed to kill was actually someone who loved the NPC so much that he was willing to sacrifice his life for her. While the guy at the Holy Light Guild the player needs to take the NPC to is a cannibal trash. I remembered whether I was following the rules of the game or not and suddenly changed my identity to a boss. When I first transformed into Chan Noyet, the system had wrongly warned the boss that he appeared without any answer. Why is it that even the hack version that Luke Lai himself created gradually deviated from the game's operating loris? Did it appear from the very beginning that Guin Bao Dian has random achievements? All random missions have been being completely adjusted, requires killing here and there, trying to figure out the cause of all this. Luli thought to himself, could it be that he was querying the source code database and rewriting it to create this confusion? Then the warning words kept ringing, but he didn't understand what they meant. Does rewriting the light source code of the century in Luna's mouth have anything to do with the problem he is facing? This is why NPCs and monsters in the game started to deviate from the mission design trajectory. Thong Knot has many unexpected directions. Can Luna suddenly appear like that? Can I believe it? Is all of this a light that is leading me to find infinite purgatory? Or is it to pull myself together and destroy my plans and plans? Luli thought she was sure where to go to find infinite purgatory, but one thing after another kept happening and it was hard to predict. Brother, are you walking forward or are you moving further and further away from me? With a gloomy face as if wearing thread, he was sitting across from you. He wanted to ask what was wrong with you, but his mouth was full of stuff. Can ask. From behind, the rabbit opened the rice and offered to eat the 5 bowls of fried rice with eggs that he ordered earlier. Rafi made a face that he had been planning to stop eating for a long time and was waiting for this dish so he couldn't stop. A beautiful, shimmering bowl of rice is placed on the table, the scent wafting through the air. Rafi stood up and gave 1 cup to Luli, 3 cups for himself, and 1 cup, no need to say who to give it to. A few years ago, the weather was always freezing cold every winter. Snow accumulated on the heavy branches and leaves. The entire orphanage area was covered in white snow and the playground was empty because the children were all in their rooms. His brother heard Rafi crying loudly and rushed in through the door to ask what was going on. Luli sat Thursday Lu on the bed dissatisfiedly answering, the bed we had dirty things spilled and people peed on them. So Rafi didn't know what to do but cry and cry, sobbing and asking how he could sleep in such a cold weather. Han Not Tu heard it and knew that what that mole and chip-toothed guy had done this time, he couldn't help but let him do something wrong. Luli told her brother that the brat was picked up by the director's mother and disappeared. I also went looking for something to replace the new street station, but I didn't expect to receive the answer. This winter, each person only has 1 set of clothes, no more. Which set is left over to exchange? No matter what you do inside the house, when the sun goes out, it gets colder and colder. There's a snowstorm outside and the temperature drops to -18 degrees. The 3 brothers were huddled together, so cramped that it was uncomfortable. Ha smiled and tried to remind him. Just wait until the bed sheets are dry without getting sick and that's good enough. Rafi, sitting in the warmest middle, still frowned, not understanding life is always so miserable. Why do we obviously do nothing? Why do we have to endure such mean things? Luli's voice is cold. Life is a sea of suffering, going through seas of suffering and then passing away, but only the most smiling Han always has a bright smile. Don't think far away, do nothing. Think of it. Whatever you do tomorrow is already good. Already. He hopes that tomorrow he can go out and find a temporary job and earn a lot of money. Luli wants to go to school properly, while Rafi's little dream is just 3 bowls of rice and eggs. The whole group burst out laughing along with Rafi's pouting childish voice. I ordered 5 bowls and divided 2 bowls between the 2 of you, but the laughter from that year still follows his brothers forever. Now we don't have to endure the bone-chilling cold, but 5 bowls of rice. Eggs are still the thing, Rafi, I want to order the most, and above all, his brothers all know what they want to do tomorrow. Very quickly, Luli met the baby Susan again, greeting her owner and announcing that 15 kilometers east of him, the kingdom of Thiat Nguai was holding an extremely big event. That place allows players to gain a lot of experience and gold coins and also has the opportunity to receive a lot of rare equipment and valuable props. The introduction to the design is quite simple. The people here are pure and generous. In the mountains, there are many mines and a highly developed mining and forging industry, also known as the homeland of weapons. There is only 1 minute left from the registration time for the Taiwei Air Kingdom. The registration gate was crowded with people. La loudly demanded to be let through, but the Gong NPC did not agree. The number of people who announced their names urged the heroes to disperse. The NPC's sharp voice was interrupted when his hand was placed in a bag of 500 gold. He also laughed loudly, making the people behind him curse incessantly. Just a game, but it also simulates the bribery practice outside. So why did the 3 people who beheaded Noyet Duonghong walked in, ignoring the gamers stuck outside? There are 9 seconds left to register for the activity. Rafi's group got inside and looked at the landscape. He was very surprised to hear rumors that the kingdom of Thiat or something still has so many forests and mountains. Here, it turns out that the territory of Thiat Duong is very large. The group has to leave. Just get to the central castle to begin. Time started counting down to 3, 2, 1 second. As soon as the registration period ended, a heavy metal plate fell to the entrance area. Many similar panels suddenly fell one after another, forming a circle right at the castle wall, where soon built a new, sturdy wall surrounding the entire citadel and the mountains inside. From a distance, it looked like a scene in Attachment of the Titan. The whole wall suddenly dropped, startling the moon blades. I quickly covered my eyes and wondered why it looked so familiar, not to mention there was going to be a herd of giants coming out of their cages to eat people, but these walls are 50 to 60 meters high. Suddenly, above everyone's heads, an electronic board appeared, but it didn't look like an announcement. On it appeared the face of a man who was confused and kept saying hello, who can't hear the answer. Behind the strange man with the fish badge was a man wearing a ticket who walked up and whispered, "Sir, no more problems with the projector and the die machine." Then he began to speak to welcome the warriors. The warrior from far away, "I am the diplomatic minister of the Iron Throne Kingdom named Hua Duk Tui and also the one who chose this time. First of all, let me briefly summarize the reason for inviting the brave heroes here. That was 18 years ago, His Majesty the heroic King Phi Pham Chi Dung, who loves the people like our own children, together with Queen Kwok Sak Tien Hung, mother of all talents and virtues, gave birth to a worthy princess. Love the ultimate intelligence." Just as he was about to continue speaking, the black man whispered, "Let's keep it short, boss. Speak so softly that everyone can hear." He quickly came to the grown-up princess with a beautiful face that could make ice and snow defrost hundreds of blooming flowers and butterflies that touched the sky. The princess was a true treasure given by heaven, an incarnation of a god, and also a noble woman. The most beautiful in the hearts of the people. He talked for a long time and couldn't wait anymore, so he whispered again, "There are 2 minutes left until lunch break, boss." So he was like a horse being whipped and quickly reached the center of the princess who had been taken away by the evil dragon. The king wanted to choose the strongest hero to save the princess. Wouldn't that be faster? The man in black stood there. The back of the story has to be crossed quickly so the head is big but the tail of the story boils down to a tiny bit. Brave men who understand, don't worry about it. In short, the king knew that the evil dragon had extremely strong power, so he specially organized this contest to find out who he was. Even though he didn't know what he was doing, the number 1 appeared on all 3 heads. With a golden picture attached, "Nah, guess that was the first thing I could do with the collecting game." That quote continues to play. I believe you have understood that this is a competition to collect bravery certificates within a total of 7 days. Only heroes with 100th hair certificate will be promoted to the next level. The most common problem in this part is the selection ratio of 1 to 100. Only 1 person out of 100 people can pass the selection. So how to get a bravery certificate here? There are 3 ways to make it public for everyone to know. The first and simplest way is to look for bravery certificates that are littering everywhere. It can appear in any corner. The second way is to kill monsters in the kingdom. The more brave certificates you have, the stronger you will be. And the third most effective way is to steal from other heroes the number of bravery certificates that are publicly displayed above everyone's head for everyone to see. So the more certificates of bravery a person has, the more likely he is to be in danger than if he talks too much. He had to remind the old man about 5 minutes past the break time and then confused the old man and quickly invited everyone to start. Make it hot. Time starts counting down from 168 hours on the vast citadel. Cham Noyet did not delay and immediately led the 3 as they walked and discussed tactics. Unexpectedly, soon a group of 3 people appeared opposite, waving warmly and asking if they all wanted to form a group. The red-haired guy in the middle quickly said that the more people in this type of activity, the more beneficial it is. I plan to form a team of about 100 people to have an advantage over others. Who would have thought that the bet would be so sweet, but no one in the Tram Noyet group would even look back, coldly apologizing without any intention of apologizing. Just like that, they passed by. The other person was so angry that the big fish eat the small fish, but he didn't understand his anger, so he cursed. What a bunch of brainless idiots who would pass up such a good opportunity for me to meet you guys again. I will definitely punish them. As soon as he rushed into the forest, Rafi was curious and asked why my brother and I didn't accept what the person just said was reasonable, so why did we refuse? It's true that Tran B is naive enough. Noyet only explained superficially to increase the number in a way. Being blind is not a good thing. The 3 of them packed their gear and ran, not paying attention to anyone else because no matter how many sharks there were, they were just prey. Even if there were fewer sharks, they were also hunters. Previously, Cham Noyet had completed the task and was awarded a random reward in the 7-color book. However, even though it was a coincidence, the God Sacrifice contract and certificate were mythical level props. Allows players to use the establishment of a union to increase the number of union members to achieve a special effect. The basic effect of all union members' attributes adds gradually higher points when the number of people reaches 20, 50, or 100. On the Tien Noyet side, they single-handedly took on the big boss and easily got the first 15 certificates. Luna is sure to wear well. Every time she passes by, she asks for 10 points and doesn't visit Lam. But she makes sure to wear them regularly. Meanwhile, Rafi plays more dynamically, creating huge fireballs to burn other new players to get their certificate. 5 names get 5 cards. The first time they played, each person had a new score. Standing high up looking down at a boss with a number of papers on his head, Rafi immediately told me to let him handle it, even though he was the one with the least points in the group. Very nimbly, his hand held a flaming donkey ball. Little did he know that at the other end, there was also a person with a glowing body rushing towards him. Rafi on the left, that person on the right shoots 2 fireworks at the boss at the same time, kill it together so the points are split in half. As soon as Rafi landed, he opened his mouth and cursed the bandits. Who the hell dares to rob me of my bravery certificate? It turned out to be a girl with 2 long horns tied all over her body, wearing red, orange and yellow clothes that were as bright as the fire in her hands. As soon as I landed, I heard my wife cursing me, so I was not happy and replied, "Who robbed you?" The little girl rushed towards the concubine and wanted to teach him a lesson about talking to her and trying to rob her. It was obvious that this woman found out first when she heard the word a concubine and immediately thought she was dead. Unexpectedly, she was a child. The girl just cursed so harshly. So he didn't bother to fight, but turned around and ran away. No matter how many fireballs the girl threw, he still ran away. But the other person became more and more eager to ask Rafi to return the bravery certificate before talking to Dignity. So the 2 chased the other away. The person throwing the fire bomb and the person with his armpits burning did not fight back. The whole forest echoed with screams. "I don't fight with women. I'm your senior. This lady here likes to force me. I can't stand this girl," and had to call out to my big brother to save me from this place. Tram Noyet appeared like a gust of wind close to the sword. It took her to stop and let Rafi breathe while he was panting and laughing at his little brother. "You're still very young." The girl was beheaded, but the letters were clearly visible on her face, mumbling to steal my certificate. She also scolded me and attacked me secretly, thinking she would summon some power and enter the moon, but she didn't. An explosion rang out on the ground. Before Rafi could realize what was behind him, a blurred figure appeared. Just hearing the sound of Rafi being careful, Luna came from behind. Wanted to rescue, but unfortunately the 2 of them couldn't do anything. Luna's sword tip also stopped in the air when a tall girl held both ends tightly. That outstanding strength proved why she had 50 certificates when entering the battle. Top. Rafi doesn't dare to tease girls anymore. This girl looks taller than him, but in her current situation, she's in a situation where I'm holding your sister hostage.